Welcome to On the Pit. I'm Dave from Dream Thoroughbreds, and with me is Lenny from Bluegrass Bloodstock. How are you, Lenny?
Going good, Dave.
That's good. We're a bit rusty with the tips last week, first week back, but chock full of value this weekend, and so we can get back on track very quickly. This week, the big Group 1 is at headquarters at Flemington for the Group 1 Makybe Stakes over 1600 metres, and yeah, another Group 1 of full of returning stayers, Lenny. So probably a good race to follow in the future, I'd say, coming out of this. Who do you like, mate?
For sure. I actually find it hard to do a map, a speed map of this race. Yeah. Just with the speed. Obvious horse, Push on Saloon, he's been pretty emphatic the way he returned. Yeah. But $1.90 for me, too short. I wouldn't be taking that. Second up, Mile, might be a bit flat. I actually going with a horse at good value. That's Mr. Moe. That's got very similar form lines around Budregas as Push on Saloon. I think he's got a great record at the Mile, and a great first up record. I think he's won 3 times, and he ran a cracking race last year. First up was the Autumn behind All Too Hard and Marwingo, which is good enough form to win this. I think the style of horse he is drawn to 14, like he's going to get back. But I reckon, even though that there's probably not going to be a hot tempo, it's not going to matter, because I think he's the sort of horse that's going to benefit just having that turn of foot, and you just be able to work into it nice. So at the quote of about $15, $16, that'll do me. Yeah,
this race will be a race to follow in the spring. I have no doubt about that, but don't really like it on Saturday. It's not a great betting proposition for me, this race. It's hard to go past the favourite, Poisson Saloon, because he just has that sort of extra bit of speed that the other stayers probably won't have first up. So again, I don't want to take the $1.90 though either. We know he's good, but there's still a couple of queries on his form. His last win was against Goats. He's yet to win a Group 1 before. He's actually yet to run in a Group 1. So I don't really want to be going silly at the $1.90. It's just hard to see anything else winning. I actually agree with you. Mr. Moe is the only other horse I can see primed to win first up. He's been given 3 trials in prep for this race. He's won 3 from 5 first up, including a Group 1 over the mile. The only question is, I'm just not sure if he's good enough to win a Group 1 in the spring. Very different to win a Group 1 in the sort of the summer period. So 16 to 1 though, it's probably good each way value. So it's worth maybe having an each way ticket. Stable news, Lenny. What's been happening this week for you, mate?
Not a lot. We got Mia Dio running on Monday, Dave, at Warrnambool. I forgot to mention last week that Bluegrass Bloodstock got accepted into the Federation of Bloodstock Agents.
Yeah, well done.
So, which is great for the business. There's only 8 registered agents in Victoria, so so that was good for our business.
Absolutely. And Mia Dio on a wet track on Monday, isn't it, at Warrnambool?
Yeah,
so that'll suit him.
It'll suit him down to the ground.
Charles in Charge has been scratched from Adelaide tomorrow. Nothing serious, but he'll be ready to race again in about a week's time. Fruling is coming back, mate. He's awesome. Coming back next Wednesday at Mornington. It's the same race he won last year, actually, on his way to the spring, and then he got hurt. He's not primed to win next week, but should run a fairly forward race off the back of a good trial. We had the Dream Day at the Races function last week at Caulfield with Group 1 racing. Great day of racing. It was under very blue skies. It was a beautiful day out there, and some exciting racing. And we drew our winner share in the racehorse raffle, and the winner was Graham Hughes, who is one of our owners in Beringer, and he is choosing. He had 4 options. He's choosing between the Doomsday Filly and the Turffontein Colt. So he's torn between the 2, and both selected by Bluegrass Bloodstock for us. So they're both 2-year-olds and just coming back into work in the next month or so. Value bets, Lenny. Who's your value bet for the weekend, mate?
Going to Flemington, race 5, number 11, Hill Spy, Dave. He's at the $7 quote. Last start, he ran third in that race behind Fast and Rocking and Safeguard, and he was a great run.
Yep.
It was wide the trip and kept finding the line, and that form's obviously been franked with Fast and Rocking coming out and winning last week at Caulfield.
Yep.
I think Flemington's going to really suit this horse, and really it's not a harder field than he contested last start, and with a better run at the $7, I think he's great value.
All right, I'll have a fiver on it with you, mate, because my value bet is race 5, number 2, Safeguard. I just don't know how this horse isn't favourite for the race tomorrow. He won a Group 3 last start. He beat Fast and Rocking. Fast and Rocking's come out and beat Prince Arado, who was probably unlucky and going to be one of the favourites for the Guineas. He's one day on the straight before. He'll improve off the first up run. He's trained at the track. He would have had more straight track experience than the whole of the rest of the field put together. He's $6. He's great value. I'm sure he won't be anything like that on the day, so I'll take the value now. I think Safeguard's the value. I'll throw in another one, race 2, number 14, Marwood, trained by Mike Moroney. This gelding won only a maiden last start at Seymour, which is nothing to spruik about, but it's the way he won it that really impressed me. He looks like he's a horse with plenty of scope. I think he'll really relish the step up to 1400. He's out of a horse called Perno that people might remember, who actually ended up winning a Coolmore, and by O'Reilly, so lots of scope about this horse, outstanding pedigree. He's drawn 16, which is the problem, but if he wasn't drawn 16, I'd be all over him like a cheap suit, and he'll come across the field, hopefully get a sit. He's got Bossy on him, huge chance, $11 today. I think you'll get around the $12. $12 for a horse coming off a maiden wing's not normally very good, but I just think this horse is going to be suited to the 1600 or getting up in distance. He's 26 for the Guineas, the Caulfield Guineas, so I think he's worth specking a bit. What about best on breeding, Len? You got a best on breeding tip for us?
I do. Race 4, Sydney, number 1, Guelph.
Yep.
She's by the leading sire of worldwide 2-year-olds. He had 235 winners in Exceed and Excel.
Yeah. Jumped out of the box last year, didn't he?
And obviously, the Golden Slipper winner in Overreach. But it's a female family of this filly, which is outstanding. She's out of the Group 1 winner in Camarilla, who's in turn out of the Group 1 Derby winner in Camarina.
Yeah.
And the 4th dam of this filly is Jessamine Lass, who's in turn, she's the dam of Canny Lad, who's the champion sire. So just a ripping pedigree. She's got great residual value and by a champion sire. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think she's a big chance. On the bid specials, mate, who's you on the bid special for the weekend?
Flemington, race 2, number 2, Cawthon.
Yep.
Great win last start. Very authoritative. It was a really good field. Put them to the sword. I think he's crying out for Flemington and crying out for the 1400.
Yeah.
Obviously he's drawn a bad gate, 15, but as we've seen since they've redone the Flemington track, 1400 there with the camber, it's not so bad to be stuck 2 or 3 deep as long as you've got some cover, and that's where I can see this guy probably sitting 3 deep with cover.
Yeah.
And I think his ability will just carry him over the line. I think he'll just be too good for him, and he's a great price at the 325.
Yeah, when he sprinted last start, he put him to bed quickly, didn't he? Yeah. The barrier probably gets you a bit of value. My on the bid special is your best on breeding, mate. Race 4, number 1, Guelph. Absolute class filly. Stand out at the level weights. She's 16 rating points above her nearest rival, and they're on level weights. Darley has been a little bit off the ball of late, but with Safeguard earlier in the day, Guelph in Sydney, I think this filly just gets them back on track as well. She's the bet of the day for me. Leg up in all your multis. I'm loading up on the bit for me.
Nice one.
Off the bit, mate. Who are you off the bit with?
We had to go back to the drawing boards, Dave, because Norzita's out for the spring.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, actually.
It's unfortunate, but she was my lay for Saturday. But not to be, so I've reassessed, and Nigel Blackerson's horse, Desert Journey, in race 3, number 9.
Yep.
simply because he's a very likely race galloper who is coming out of restricted grade, and first time at the 2000. I usually like to see horses have a go at the 2000 first, and he's obviously taken on some season campaigners in this at the $5 quote. I wouldn't want to be on. There's a few question marks on him.
Yeah, I don't even like that race, to be honest. Off the bit for mine. How stiff was I last week, mate? Mick Price told everyone Sam already couldn't win, and then she comes out and blows them away. So I'll still lay her again next start. I don't care. I'm sticking with her. But anyway, I'm going to lay race 1, number 2, Metastasio. We saw her at Moonee Valley when she was first up. Very small filly.
Yeah.
This is her 3rd run in 5 weeks. I just think this may start to catch up with her over a bit of time, and I'm prepared to risk her in a very open and even race. I think that first race, there's a lot of horses coming into that first up, but with a lot of potential, a lot of good fillies. So I just think they have a bit more scope than her, and I'm prepared to lay her. I think she's carrying about 58.2, which is, it's going to start sort of telling on her. She's off the bit for mine, so Metastasio. Hopefully we'll get back on track again this week, mate. I'm sure we will, because we absolutely love headquarters, and we'll see you on track this weekend. See you later.
See you guys.